All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome. Today is January 15th, and we are here live, Model Monday live from the TooTallToby studios. All dried out now. We had a lot of rain here on the East Coast last week, and all the precautions we put in place worked for the most part. We just had some minor water get in through the seal coating on the walls here because we're kind of built into a hill a little bit, and so the ground was just so saturated it just kind of all wanted to come through. So maybe we'll get some improvements to the seal coating, but overall it's good, much better than it was a few years ago. There's some if you look around, you might be able to find some old footage of the flooding from a few years ago, but it was pretty nuts, and very happy that now getting the same amount of downpour resulted in much more manageable situations. So very, very happy to be here with all of you on this January 15th. I posted a video this morning. It got posted a little bit later than I had hoped, and so I don't like having such a close gap between content and release. We had the video released like just before noon, and now we're doing the live stream at 1. But it's pretty epic video. Really fun to see our finalists from the 2023 tournament, one of whom is here in the chat with us right now, Victor K, and Ivan the Reasonable, two of the strongest modelers in the 2023 tournament, going head-to-head in those finals. And it was really, really cool to see the result of that match and to kind of just see how close it was. I mean, they entered their answers within like a second of each other. So very cool video. If you haven't had a chance to watch it yet, be sure to check out that video. And let's see here, just taking a look at the chat. We got Aaron C in the chat. What's up? Glad to be here. Hey, glad to have you here, Aaron C. We got Will from Brazil is here. What's up, Will? Welcome. Thanks for joining us. And Garrett is here. Says, sup, my CAD people. What's up, Garrett? How you doing? Great to see you in here. X Machina says, we had a big flood in 2020. Had water go under the foundation, had to do some extensive repairs to the house. Yeah, that's brutal. We have a water source, a creek out back that got, there was during one of the hurricanes, so probably around that same time, maybe like 2019, there was a blockage that occurred in the creek. And so instead of it flowing, it just basically backed up into our yard and then backed up into the back of the house. And that was pretty brutal. So we've done some stuff with landscaping to kind of prevent that, kind of like walling off the areas where the water was flowing in case something like that does happen again. But it was all good this time, man. It really worked good. It was a little bit, it's the first time we've really tested the new system. So, it's always scary, but feel a lot more confident now. So yeah, good. Everybody is good. Everything is good. And it's just real happy to be here with all of you on this January 15th. The other point that I made when I made that video this morning is that there's only really 1 week left to qualify for the Spring Open. So we're going to talk about that as we go through the presentation today. But just keep in mind that if you're interested in being in the next tournament, you basically have 1 week left to qualify. So be sure to get those submissions in on the leaderboard challenge, TooTallToby.com/spring. Other than that, it was pretty nice weekend. This weekend I actually went skiing for the first time. I've been snowboarding several times, but I've never tried to strap on the skis, and so got to try it this weekend. And it's been a long time since I've been on a mountain, and so it's always funny how as we get older, if there's a big gap in the amount of time it's been since you last did something, a lot of times you kind of foolishly think that you can still do it, and it's very different. Like, you need me to climb up on that thing? Sure. I did that when I was 18. I could do that again now, right? It's basically the same thing. I could do it then. Sure, I can do it now. But it's like your muscles don't work the same way they used to. Your body doesn't work the same way it used to. And I think the other thing is when you get older, that it takes a lot longer to heal. Like a lot of times you hear these youngsters saying, I got no fear. I'm not afraid. But it's like, well, yeah, you're not afraid because even if you like break your arm, you'll probably be all healed up in a week. But, for me, if I bruise my shin, that's going to be a bruise for like the next 6 months, So when it takes longer to heal, as you get older, it generally takes a little longer to heal. It makes sense that you're a little bit more cautious in your decisions and in your behavior. So got to go skiing this weekend, fell down many times, but eventually I got the hang of it. I kind of understood how the mechanics work, similar to snowboarding, understood how the carving and everything works. And so it was all good. It was a lot of fun. Good chance to kind of be out, be outside, be away from the screens. Always very important to take those breaks from the screens and just kind of get out there and enjoy the real world, the outside world, enjoy nature. So yeah, the older we get, the better we are. Yeah, I agree with that too, Rich. I very much agree with that. I wouldn't have it any other way. Victor says, wish I could find time to ski again. Been 14 years or something. Yeah, it is hard to find the time. It is hard to break away, but it's just good. You know, it's good to kind of get out of the normal environments that we're in and kind of get out to the get out to the real world. Sahil is here as well. Hello, brother. How are you? Great to see you in here. Long time no see. It was great to see you last week, and it's great to see you back again this week, too. Alrighty, let's go. Aaron says, I went skiing this weekend, too, to Killington, one of the biggest mountains on the East Coast, possibly the biggest mountain on the East Coast. Crazy crowds, though. Yikes. Yeah, we got fortunate. We went to a place that it got crowded kind of in the middle of the day, but in the morning and later in the afternoon, it was pretty light. So we got to really enjoy ourselves and get a lot of runs in. So yes, believe it or not, I have been to Killington before too, Aaron. So next time I go up there, I'll let you know. All right, cool. Well, let's get into it here today. Today is Model Monday Live, and I know that what most of you are here for is the live challenges for the chat. Who is the fastest in the chat? So let's get into it here. We're going to do 2 CAD speed modeling challenges. We're going to talk about some new TTT stuff in 2024. We're going to do a live solve using SolidWorks. Probably just going to do one live solve today. I'm going to do the angled shelf. I know that there were a lot of questions on this. I posted this as a practice model, and a lot of people were wondering, like, how would you do this, Toby? You know, how would we do this one? So I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do it in 2015, SolidWorks 2015 again, just because I really like that build of SolidWorks. I think you really get a lot of value. You can get a lot of value from that older build, especially on modern hardware. So I'll do it in 2015 again, but it should be insightful for anybody who's using any CAD to kind of see how you might be able to solve this thing. So Aaron says, this part taught me about the indent feature. Yeah, there's a lot of ways that you could do this part. So we'll talk about this today too. But don't forget, if you want to support the channel, the easiest way to support is just to hit that like button. I'm going to go over to my monitoring setup over here and hit that like button and see what we can get up to. It's showing me 3 right now, but I feel like this one isn't really refreshing properly. I know that YouTube has been doing some weird stuff with, like, if you're using any kind of ad blocker, it really throttles the performance. They're trying to get people to not use ad blockers. So I think that's probably why I'm not seeing the real-time update. But don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're here for the first time, let us know in the chat. We would love to say hello to you and welcome you to this episode of Model Monday Live. And with that, let's get into it. We'll talk a little bit more about value for value in just a bit, but we do get, value for value donations, and we really appreciate that people see what we're doing here and they send in a value for value donation. And we did get one this past week from the user CK. He's in the chat today, I know. And his message was simply show your support, and that's all we need, is just saying, hey, I really appreciate what you're doing with the channel, and here's a little value back to you for all the value you've given me from saving time with these tips and tricks. So thank you so much to CK out there hanging out in the chat, helping us out with the channel. It's always very much appreciated. Any kind of value that you see, you're always encouraged to send some value back. It's all we ask for in return here on Model Monday Live. So here we go. Let's get into it. CAD speed modeling challenges. We're going to show you a 2D print, and we're going to challenge you to turn that 2D print into a 3D model. And you're going to calculate the mass of that model, and you're going to enter that mass directly into the YouTube chat. And you can use any CAD system that you want. You can use SolidWorks, you can use Onshape, you can use a Libre, you can use IronCAD, you can use any CAD system you want to take this 2D print and turn it into a 3D model and calculate the mass. And I know that we're a little bit light today. It's a holiday here in the United States, so we're a little bit light as far as number of live attendees for this live stream today. But the people who are here are heavy hitters. So if you're in the chat today and you're trying this one, be ready for some challenges, because we have some of the fastest people in the world in the chat with us here today. So the basic rules are that you can use any CAD package. that you're going to use the specified precision, and the first correct answer in the chat will be declared the winner. Here are the unit systems that we use on Model Monday Live. So if you're here for the first time, let us know. Sahil in the chat is saying, I use Siemens NX. So very nice, very nice. Welcome using Siemens NX. It's great to see a little bit of an exotic CAD system in here. And let's get into it here. Advanced rules. Occasionally I'll make some mistakes, and the Ivan exploit is permitted. And Ricardo Jean is in the chat. Welcome, Ricardo. Perfect timing. We are about to get rolling here. So here we go. This very first challenge is gonna go live as soon as I show the print. You are live, and you are challenged to turn this into a 3D model. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go. What is the mass of this part in XXX grams? The tolerance is plus or minus 1 gram. This part comes from the 2023 tournament. It was 23-T-04 corner T, little like corner part that you might use. And this part you can see it's from it's in MMGS. It's made a 1060 alloy. This is one that I think is a cool looking part. I don't think we've had this one as a challenge model, a practice model. I don't think we've had it in Model Monday Live yet. And so, you know, as always, what we'll do with this model is we'll make kind of a modified version, and then we'll roll that out as a practice model as well, just as a standalone video. But what is the mass of this part in XXX grams? That is your challenge today. Try and take this 2D print, turn it into a 3D model. And I'll give you guys just another minute here to grab a screen capture of that. I'm going to take a sip of my delicious coffee. We actually ran out of our regular blended coffee today, so I'm drinking the backup stuff. Not quite as delicious, but it gets the job done. What is the mass of this part in XXX grams? The tolerance is plus or minus 1 gram. So give this a try. Take a screen capture, put it over on your second monitor, start modeling this thing up. This is probably like a tier 3 on a scale of 1 through 10. This is like a tier 3 model here. So it's got a few features you got to look out for. Maybe tier 4, tier 3, tier 4. Definitely not the most challenging of models, but definitely one that will take you just a few minutes to complete. So give it a try. We're going to flip back to the presentation here, and we are going to keep on going, keep on rolling on here. Talking about a little bit of what's going on in the world of TooTallToby. And I mentioned this at the onset. The 2024 Spring Open is currently live for registration and qualification, and that window of opportunity to register and qualify will end in just about a week. So if you go to TooTallToby.com and you go to the section that says Tournaments 2024 Spring Open, or TooTallToby.com/spring, you can see that this is the page where you can register. There are lots and lots and lots of people here who have submitted a qualifying run here. Looks like about 20 people here have submitted a qualifying run. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at all of these runs, and we're going to reach out to the top 16 people on this board. And we're going to say, hey, would you like to compete in the upcoming tournament, the Spring Open? So the details here for the Spring Open are that the tournament is going to be CAD versus CAD, 1 versus 1, same format that we use for the World Championship. It's going to be 16 people. It's going to run on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. East Coast. And the tournament dates are going to be every Wednesday, February 7th through March 20th. I think there's like 1 week where we skip in there. But the semifinals and the finals are going to run on March 20th. And it's going to live stream at 1 p.m. on Wednesdays, 1 p.m. East Coast. So if if it turns out that we reach out to some of these people who are qualified for the tournament, they might say, you know what, I actually can't do it on Wednesdays, or if we run into a scheduling conflict where they just can't get in there, they just can't do the tournament, then we're going to go on to the next people in the list. So be sure to let us know what you think about these challenges, but let us know if you want to be a part of this tournament. And the way that you do that is you go through and you model up these 3 parts, you record yourself doing it. If you want to see a video of how to qualify, all the instructions are here up top. And if you want to see some of the other people running this thing, you could click on one of these videos like Dom here. He's in 3rd place. He did this using SolidWorks 2023. And we can see here that Dom was able to get through here and model up these 3 parts. You can see there's a clock over here on the left, and he was able to go through and model all these parts. Basically, you model the part, and then you have to clearly show what the mass of that part is. And once you do that for all 3 models, then you will be qualified for this tournament. You will be able to enter into this tournament and hopefully win this upcoming Spring Open. So the difference between the Spring Open and the World Championship is that this one's only 16 people. The World Championship is 32 people. This one takes place on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. It's a little bit of a shorter run here, and we're going to have no sheet metal. And as of just a few minutes ago in the chat, we're also going to have no assemblies or multi-body required. You could always use multi-body to, bridge gaps on certain components if you want to, but we're not going to have anything that's like multi-material, multi-body assembly, nothing like that in the Spring Open. So it's all going to be parts. So the Spring Open is the next CAD vs. CAD tournament. Very excited to be hosting this, and we're getting everything in order on our side on the back end, and we're really excited about all the people who have already qualified for this tournament, submitted qualification registration for this tournament. It's going to be a good one for sure. Don't forget, if you go to TooTallToby.com, you can sign up for a free account, and that is how you can begin the process of qualifying for that tournament. We also did a practice models update this year. We talked about this a little bit last week, but the idea of the practice models update is that using kind of the same technology that we use for the leaderboard runs, you can now go in and challenge yourself to complete a practice model. So you'll see here that when you go to TooTallToby.com/practice models, there is a list here of all of the practice models. You can go list view or grid view here to kind of filter this out. You can see the different levels of complexity. So tier 1, tier 4, tier 3, tier 3, tier 3, tier 4, tier 4 on a scale of 1 to 10. That's what that tier scale is. Basically, how many features. It's kind of based on like how many features is it going to take you to finish this model, and also is there anything really tricky, like you have to do, the orders in the features in a certain order in order to get the correct answer. So the models can be completed in any order you want. You don't have to start at the beginning and go to the end, but every time you finish one, you're going to earn 10 TTT cash, which you can use here in the general store. Kind of cool. You can use this to purchase NFTs or to purchase these party packs, these PDF party packs. So you're going to earn 10 TTT cash every time you finish one of those practice models, and you're going to end up acquiring points essentially on the leaderboard. And we can see here on the leaderboard, we've already got 4 people who have finished on the leaderboard, have finished all 7 of these models. So Smooth Slug, Jay Gomez 720, Phosphor, our plasticity user, and Clemen Chen have all finished all 7 of the models available on that leaderboard challenge or on that practice models challenge. We've got a ton of people here who have also just kind of gone through and been working their way through some of the other models, and that is awesome as well. We got Jern here. He does build 123D CAD or 123D. So very, very cool here that we've got all these different users using, a lot of different CAD systems as well as they are going through and modeling up these parts. So check out TooTallToby.com/practice if you want to see all of these models, if you want to give them a try at the clock. You don't, when you enter the answer, if the answer is not correct, you just don't finish. It just doesn't give you the points. It's not good enough. You have to get it correct. You have to get it correct within the specified tolerance range in order to move on, in order to earn those points or earn that TTT cash. So check it out. We're really excited about that practice model section. It's got the built-in clock. It's got the leaderboard. You can track your progress. It's sort of mobile friendly. We're getting it to the point where it's going to be mobile friendly, continuing to develop this over time. Also, we did an update to the training section of the website. So we've got these available classes here for training. Basically, you go into your profile and you say, like, yeah, I would definitely be interested in taking this class. These classes run for 2 days. So that they run Thursday, Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So they're 2-day long classes, the advanced part design, CSWP prep, intermediate assembly techniques, and Toby's tips and tricks. They run for 2 days. They run Thursday, Friday. Originally, I had some of these running Monday, Tuesday, but we got Model Monday live, and then I had the other ones running Wednesday, Thursday, but we have the tournament running on Wednesday. So that was kind of a misstep on my part. So I just put them all Thursday, Friday, a nice kind of way to end your week. You can just kind of, do a little bit of work in the morning, attend the training class during the day, and then maybe finish out the day with just a little bit more work. Or who knows, maybe your boss will just let you leave, at the end of the day. you just did training all day for 2 days straight. It's Friday. It's 3 o'clock. Maybe you can just leave early, you know? I'll tell you that you can leave early, you know, if that means anything to anybody. I'll approve it. So we teach lots of cool stuff here, like in the advanced part modeling class. We talk about advanced fillets and chamfers, splines, fit splines, 3D curves, helices, split lines, 3D sketching, sweeps, lofts, pierce constraint, delete face, move face, multi-body commands, advanced patterns, lots of cool stuff here. And that's just one of the classes. We got lots of different classes here. We did some training last week. So we did some custom training last week with awesome student number 1. We did some custom training. So the training is up and running. We have the whole system in place. We're ready to work with you, ready to work with your team. Just let us know, either reach out to me direct through like the contact page or through the Discord, or you could just sign up for the class, and we're going to notify everybody who says that they're interested. When you go into your profile, so if I go in here to my profile here, there's a section here in my profile where I can say that I'm interested in certain training. So like if I'm interested in CSWP prep, I just go here to my profile. I'm using the Nikola Tesla profile. That's kind of like my testing account. And then I just go down here and I say, I'm interested in CSWP prep. And once you click on that slider, then you can see here that interest was recorded. And so now I'm going to be notified when that class runs. When it gets enough people who are interested, the class will run. Probably like 2 or 3 weeks out, you'll receive a notification. Hey, you're interested in this class. Here's where you can go if you want to officially sign up, submit payment, all that. And then we go from there. All the classes have a standard price of $500 per student. So if you or members of your team are interested in getting some training, we are ready to rock. We are ready to help you out with some training. Talk to your team. If you have like a CAD manager, talk to your CAD manager. Say, hey, this guy really knows his stuff in SolidWorks. We would love to get some training from him. He's really good at explaining things. He's taught over 200 training classes. He knows his stuff. All righty. Cool. I'm reading the discussion here about what do you think would be the hardest CAD to use. I'm not gonna comment on it. I'm just gonna let you guys work through it. But it's very interesting to read that kind of as I'm going through here. And we did open up the Discord last week. There is a TooTallToby Discord. There's a link down in the description of this video if you want to join the Discord. I think most of the people who are in the chat have already joined the Discord. Part of the projects for January are going to be to provide you with like a getting acclimated with Discord video, because maybe you've never used it at all, so you don't even know how to get started. I'll help you out with all that. So, if you're already a Discord user, this will be very familiar. Just click on the link and join the server. If you're brand new, it might be a little bit unfamiliar, and don't worry, I'll help you out with that as the month proceeds. And that's all for now. And so we are going to jump in and take a look at the answer. But don't forget, if you're enjoying what you're seeing here, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, be sure to share and reshare. If you're ever on a message board and somebody's like, hey, what's the best resource for some SolidWorks tips and tricks? Well, what you could do is you could just either point them to TooTallToby.com, or you could point them to the YouTube channel. So it's youtube.com/TooTallToby, TooTallToby. And if you just point him to the YouTube channel, you could just point him to the channel in general, say, hey, this guy's got a ton of good tips and tricks. Or you could also go in here to playlists, and you could just post a link to one of the playlists, like the Power Moves playlist. That would be a good one. The Power Moves playlist is this one here that says the ultimate shortcut for power users. The Power Moves playlist is all of like my little short tips and tricks. So you can say, hey, if you watch this playlist, you're going to get so many good time-saving tips and tricks from SolidWorks. This guy is great. Anytime you can share information about the channel or share information about the YouTube, it's really going to help us to grow the channel and try and get to our goals for channel growth. So, thank you so much for that. And just remember, that's a great way to help out to support the channel. Like and subscribe, but also share and reshare. Alrighty, let's go on to our answer here. Answer number 1. Model Monday Live CAD Speed Modeling Challenges, answer number 1. And so we are going to take a look here at this model. What's up, Procky? Welcome. Thanks for joining us. 23T04 corner T. Let's take a look at the chat here and let's see what kind of answers came in. So I saw Victor K, the world champion of 3D CAD speed modeling, comes in with the first answer, 197 grams. Aaron C coming in right behind him, 206.9 or 207 grams. Will coming in 197. Aaron C revising to 197. Looks like maybe he missed something on there. Revised it, got it correct, or got it the same as these other guys. Probably it's correct. That's it. Like I said, I know we're a little bit short today as far as live attendees, but I mean, looks like we got about 18 people watching, so maybe we're gonna have some more participation in the next challenge. Holy smokes, we got a massive donation here from UDS. Looks like 100 units of currency. Thank you so much, UDS. Very, very much appreciated. I like this this little like dancing guy. I'm just watching this dancing guy with the microphone. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much appreciated. 100 units of currency. Always very much appreciated. I'm glad you're enjoying what you're seeing on the channel. All right, so, and now I'm seeing Victor K here also saying, did it 197 in SolidWorks, also did it 197 in Onshape. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Cool. All right, well, let's go with the answer here for this challenge. The correct answer is 197. Very nice. So Victor K is going to earn that point. Congratulations to Victor K. 197 is correct. He was the first one to get that answer correct. So good job, Victor K. Adding to your tally from last week. Victor K earned 1 point last week as well. Now he's up to 2 points for the year as far as the Model Monday Live challenges go. Congratulations. Aaron, I think you won the other point last week, right? I don't have my my leaderboard tally up here. It's still manual right now. All right, well, let's see what happens here in this next challenge. Thank you so much, UDS. Thank you for the super chat. Very much appreciated. I'm glad that you are enjoying what you're seeing here on the channel. Getting some value, sending some value back. That's how we do it. That's how we stay in business. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, here we go. Your second challenge begins as soon as I show the full screen. As soon as I show the print. In 3, 2, 1, go. Here we go. A little bit of this is a deeper cut from the tournament this year. What is the mass of this part in X.XXLBS? I think this model was between Jihan Rafa and maybe Imants. I can't remember who was battling this one in the tournament. But this is a tricky one. It's in IPS. It's plain carbon steel. What is the mass in pounds? X.XX pounds. Tolerance is plus or minus 0.01 pounds. The thing that makes this tricky, I think, is the little half tombstone. It's called out with radius 0.625 in the view on the right in magenta. And then also, if you look in the right side view, so the view is at the bottom of the page, there's a 5.25 dimension to the corners. The angled corners, and then there's also a 5.25 dimension to the center of those arcs. So that 5.25, it's to the center of the arcs, it's to the center of the 5 half-inch hole that's going through, and it's also to the corner of that kind of triangular shape that's sticking out there. So a little bit tricky as far as those dimensions being the same dimension and kind of on the same view. It's kind of hard to tell what they're going to, but you don't have to worry about it because it's all going to the same thing. It's all 5.25. So give this a try. Take a screen capture. Hit the like button if you haven't hit the like button in a while. Leave a comment if you're watching the recording. Leave a comment, leave another comment. Then leave a comment about what you really wanted to comment about. I'm just kidding. You don't really have to do that. But do hit the like button. Very much appreciated. And if you really enjoy what you're seeing, send some value back. It's always appreciated as well. Amir is here. What's up, Amir? Welcome, welcome. Says hi, people. Hello and welcome. We are in the second challenge now. Feel free to take a screen capture. I'm going to leave this up on the screen for about 5 more seconds. So take a screen capture of this one and put it into your second monitor, and you can begin modeling. We got some real heavy hitters here today in the chat doing these challenges. So you're going to be in for some tough competition. But frankly, with this model, if you can just finish modeling it, it would be very impressive. This is a very difficult model in a short period of time. You basically have 20 minutes to do it. If you can do this in less than 20 minutes, it's very impressive. And remember, it's not just about modeling it, but you have to model it and get the mass correct. Not easy to do. So here we go. Let's keep going on here. We're going to switch back to our full screen here. And let's get into some 3D CAD modeling using SolidWorks. Let's do this. This is going to be fun. So we're going to do a live tutorial, a live demo, a live solve using SolidWorks. I'm going to use my very favorite build of SolidWorks, which is SolidWorks 2015. The reason I say this is my favorite build is because I think it's a nice kind of balance between functionality. Most of the functionality you need there is in SolidWorks 2015. Performance, especially on modern hardware, it really is snappy. You're never waiting for the software. And stability. Not too often that I'm crashing SolidWorks 2015. So those three things are all huge pluses for me. I'm sure there are a few features that were added in newer builds of SolidWorks that I wish I had, like using wrap along a non-analytic surface. There's been several times where I've wished that I had that in 2015, or doing a sweep without needing to sketch a profile, which is, you know, convenient. It's not a deal breaker or anything, but it is convenient. I wish I had that from time to time too, but overall, you can get what you need out of SolidWorks 2015, and so that's why I'm going to be using that one today. And this is the challenge that we're going to be building here. So welcome to your SolidWorks live solve, the angled shelf. What is the mass of this part in XX.X kilograms? And let's get going here. We're just going to jump right into it. And the very first thing that I do whenever I'm starting a new challenge is I come up with a game plan. It's always a good first step. So what I do is I look at the overall model and I ask myself, how am I going to build this thing? And, you know, in the real world, it's usually not just a single part. It's usually multiple parts working together. And so you have to ask yourself, is this going to be modeled as an assembly, or is this going to be modeled as an individual, you know, part file with multiple bodies? And I think that for this model here, I would probably opt to do it as a multi-body part. And the reason why is because this part has a lot of interaction between the components. Now, we could also do it as like an assembly using in-context design. We could do a layout sketch, a master model layout sketch. You know, any technique is valid as long as you can come up with the correct answer. In this case, come up with the correct mass. But in this case, I think I'm just going to opt to do it as a multi-body part design. And then the next question is, can we save ourselves any time by doing like patterns? Is there anything we can do to save time in that regard? And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show off a little bit of patterning skills here in this example today, using a linear pattern with the variable pattern option, just because I really like that option. I've been using it in a lot of power moves lately, but it certainly is not necessary. We could also just sketch these shelves here. So how would I model this thing? I think what I would probably do is I would start out by creating these legs here on the front view. Now the model is symmetric. It's symmetric in two directions, so it's symmetric here, it's symmetric here. So the model's symmetric in two directions. So I think what I would start out doing is sketching or drawing up this leg here in the front view, and then mirroring it across that center line to give me the leg on both of those planes. And then what I think I would probably do here is either just extrude one of these legs to this depth, which is 30 millimeters, so this depth here, or I would take that sketch from the center plane and just extrude it out mid-plane at 330, and then create a second sketch here to cut those legs in half. So to cut those legs and make them into four separate bodies, basically. Go from 2 bodies to 4 bodies. I think that's going to be the technique that I'm going to use. But as always, you know, when you start out creating these models, you really have to ask yourself, how am I going to build this thing? What's my game plan? Like, how would I build these 4 legs? Would I just draw one leg at a time? Well, if I'm going to draw one leg at a time, what's the sketch plane going to look like for that leg? And that certainly is valid as well. You could certainly do that as well. You could just draw one leg and mirror it. In fact, I think that's probably a little more intuitive. So maybe that's where I would start out, is just by creating one leg. You know, this is the whole thing, is that you want to, it's like a puzzle. You want to look at it. You want to kind of look at the instructions, which is your 2D drawing. And then once you look at those instructions, then you want to start putting that thing together. So you look at the instructions, you come up with a game plan, and then you want to kind of start putting that whole thing together. Now, I realize that this is going to be a little bit redundant, a little bit repetitive, but I'm just going to roll back here. I think this will make a little bit more, there'll be a little more continuity if I kind of start over now. I know I've cheated a little. I've come up with a game plan, but this will help me when I go to export this as its own standalone video. So here we go. We're going to be doing this challenge now using SolidWorks, doing some live modeling here using SolidWorks, and this is the challenge that we're going to create. And unlike most of our live challenges, this one is an assembly, essentially. It's a shelf. It's a 1 meter tall shelf. It's got four shelf unit. It's got 4 shelves on it, and it's got a set of angled legs that are running up the side. And so what we always teach our students when we're modeling, when we're doing 3D modeling, is before you get started, you want to come up with a game plan. You want to ask yourself, how am I going to model each of these legs? How am I going to model the shelf? How am I going to model this little notch here in the shelf so that it perfectly matches up with those 4 legs? And I think that in the case of this model, I'm going to use a single part file, and I'm going to do what's called multi-body design. And this leg here that I've circled, I'm going to create that as my first body in this multi-body design. So I'm going to create a sketch here on the front plane that represents the shape of that leg. And then I'm going to extrude that sketch out to a depth of 30 millimeters. And I'm going to use the option for offset sketch plane to offset that sketch plane to 330, over 2, 1/2 of 330. That's going to give me my first leg. Then I'll be able to do some mirroring with that leg. So I'll mirror the leg over here, and I'll mirror those 2 legs over here. And then I'll have all 4 of those legs. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a sketch of the shelf by just making a rectangle here at 50 millimeters high. And then I'm going to do a really cool pattern. And this pattern is called a linear pattern using the variable distance option. So a linear pattern with the variable distance option. And I'm going to say that I want this first instance to be 350, the second instance to be 200, and the third instance to be 100. And I think for each of them, I'm going to have to add the 50 millimeter for the shelf thickness. And that should get me pretty close to the end of the model. Then I'm going to come up with the challenge of, well, how am I going to notch out these corners? How do I notch out these corners here? And I think what I'm going to use for that is actually going to be a little bit of surfacing. Mix it up a little bit and use a little bit of surfacing. So I'm going to make a little surface there on that leg. I'm going to extend that surface, and then I can use that surface to do a cut. And I can cut through those shelves using that surface. Maybe I'll make a mirror of that surface as well so that I can get all 4 of them at once and then make a cut of that shelf in the corner. There's lots of different ways you can do this. I know in the chat, Aaron was saying that he did it using an indent command in the corners. You could maybe make it as an assembly. Lots of different ways to do this, but the main thing you want to take away is to always come up with a game plan before you get started with your model. So now that I've got that game plan, let's go into the Windows snipping tool. I'm going to grab a screen capture of this model. I'm going to move this model over, or this screen capture over onto my second monitor, and I'm going to begin modeling this. And as you guys know, when I start modeling, I get really zoned into the modeling, so I'm probably not going to react to the chat too much. But if anything really important comes up in the chat, I'll still kind of keep an eye on it so I can answer your questions. So let's go in here. Let's start a new part here in SolidWorks 2015, my favorite build of SolidWorks. I'm going to make this a part using millimeters. And to stick to the game plan, I'm going to start out on the front plane, begin a sketch, and I'm going to create a sketch here with a center line. And I'll say that that center line is going to be used to drive the location of this set of angled lines here. Now, one thing that you can do when you're sketching in SolidWorks, if for some reason you don't pick up on the parallel relationship, so you can see the relationship there showing up as parallel, it's in yellow, so that means this will add the relationship of parallel there. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete that line, and I'm going to recreate a line here. So here's the line. And if for some reason you ever don't get that relationship to show up, you can just hold your mouse over that other line for a moment, and then you move back over, and then that'll kind of like reactivate the relationship to that line. So if you ever find yourself in that spot, that's kind of like a pro tip that you can use to make sure that you kind of reactivate that relationship capability for that automatic relationship. Now, this is going to have a distance to the outside of 360. So the way that I'm doing that is I'm using what's called a doubled dimension in SolidWorks. So I pick this point, pick this line, come across, and then I make that 360. And then SolidWorks does what's called auto scaling. See, a moment ago, before I did that, that dimension was 81. And it almost looks like the screen doesn't change at all when I change that to 360. But that's because when you put in your very first dimension, SolidWorks does this really cool thing where it automatically upscales the entire sketch to match whatever the value of that first dimension is. So auto scaling on that first dimension, very cool functionality in SolidWorks 2015. Now, what I'm going to do after this is I'm going to create a another dimension here, which represents the width of this thing. So this is going to be kind of on an angle here. That width is going to be at 30 millimeters. And then there's going to be a dimension here, which represents the height of this thing. So the height is going to be 1 meter. And then finally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to indicate an angle dimension here. And the angle dimension from here to this line and then crossing over that line is supposed to be 8 degrees. So the way that we get those double dimensions when we're doing an angle is you hold shift. When it's a linear dimension, it happens automatically. But when it's an angle dimension, you have to hold shift. So we're going to hold shift there. We're going to make that a dimension of 8 degrees. And there we go. That sketch is all black, which means it's fully defined, fully constrained. And now we're ready to go into an extrude command. And this thing is going to have a depth of 30 millimeters, but it's not going to be 30 millimeters from the front plane. It's going to be 30 millimeters offset. So I'll use this flyout menu here to make this offset. And that offset distance there from that flyout, we fly out this menu here, offset, that offset distance is going to be 330 over 2. 330 over 2. And then we can examine the extrusion direction here, flip the direction if we need to, because it's going to be 330 over 2 and then going inward, or this way, inward. It's going to be going inward. So make sure that the direction of that extrusion is correct. And there we go. Now we've got that leg extruded in the correct direction. Now this leg is supposed to be hollow, so I think the next thing I'll do is drive a shell in here that's going to have a 5 millimeter wall thickness, and that shell is going to be applied here on this leg and on this leg here. And so we hit the green check mark, and there we go. That gives us our first feature there in the tree, that that leg. Now, I'm just going to show the front and the right plane here just so you can kind of see what our plan is. Our plan next is to mirror that leg about both of these planes here. And we're not going to be doing this as a mirror feature. We're not going to go in here and say mirror and then choose a feature to mirror. We're going to go down here to bodies to mirror. So right now, currently, you can see that the selection box is on features to mirror. Well, here's a pretty cool thing that I learned. Believe it or not, I learned this from Aaron C. in the chat, but just kind of through osmosis or through like a different conversation we were having about a custom macro that he was working on. Check this out. If you go into the solid bodies folder here in SolidWorks and you pre-select a body and then you pre-select a plane, what SolidWorks will do is when you go to the mirror command, SolidWorks will automatically use the bodies to mirror field in that box. So normally when you go into the mirror command, you can choose features to mirror or faces to mirror or bodies to mirror. Well, if you do this, pick this body, then hold control, then pick a plane, then let go of control and then choose mirror, SolidWorks automatically does bodies to mirror here. And so if you take that one step further and you use the power move that I posted a couple of weeks ago where you modify the context menu so that mirror is right here, then what you can do is pick the body, hold control, pick the plane, let go of control, mirror, and then just hit the green check mark and you will have your mirrored body here. And so we can do it again here. We can hold control, pick these two bodies, pick the right plane, let go of control, mirror, and then hit the green check mark, and boom, we're done with those mirrors. So it's all really out of the box functionality. The only thing I really did to customize it was just modify this toolbar. But even if you didn't have this toolbar, you could just click here, mirror, and then you could right mouse button to finish. Keeps going merge solids for some reason on the first one because it's not multi-body yet. But once it's multi-body, then it'll just kind of happen automatically. So we pick these two here, pick mirror, and then just come out here and right click. Boom, we're done with mirroring those bodies. So that's something new that I discovered and that I've been using a lot lately is pre-selecting a body from the tree and then choosing mirror. And that way it automates the process of selecting the bodies to mirror. Nice little extra pro move there in this example. All right, all of these legs are made from the same material. That material is 1060 alloy. So I'm just gonna make the whole part out of 1060 alloy. So here we go, 1060 alloy for that whole part. And then I'll make the shelves out of a different material. So now for the shelves, I'm gonna go front plane, begin a sketch, orient my view. Now the way I originally did this was I created the shelves individually using rectangles. So I did it like this. I made this 50, enter, let's say like 300, just something that's enough that it'll be sticking off the ends here. Let's make it 500. So I did it like this. And then I included a vertical point here. So I could take this point here, make it vertical. And then I took that geometry window select, hold control, drag and drop, and then repeat, drag and drop, and then repeat, drag and drop. Make all these points here vertical, and then add the dimensions between them. The nice thing about that is that it makes it pretty easy to align the top shelf here to this top segment. But I'm going to show you today a different way of doing this. So that's totally valid. You could totally do it that way and then use the remaining steps that I'm about to show you. But a different way that you could do this is you could create the dimension for the first shelf here from the bottom. So this is going to have a dimension here of 150. So we'll go from the origin there to that first shelf, and we'll make that 150. And then we can take that geometry and we can extrude that. So we're going to extrude that, and let's make that to the same, you know, up to face and up to face. So I'll double click this face here. So there it goes, up to face. And then for direction 2, I'm going to choose up to face as well. And currently that is merged. That's not what we want. So I'm going to edit this feature here, and I'm going to say, don't merge the results. Now, here's another kind of cool trick that you can do if you're ever working in SolidWorks on multi-body. You can see here that when I'm in the sketch and I go to take that sketch and extrude it out, the default behavior is that merge results is selected. When you're doing multi-body or when you're doing a single body, it always defaults to merge result. Well, the quick way to get that to not be selected is you can go up here into weldments, and you can say, weldment. You can just click this button here that says weldment. So let me get out of the sketch, and now I'm going to go up here and I'm just going to click this button that says weldment. So I'm on the weldments toolbar here, weldments, and then I'm going to click this button here that says weldment, and that's it. I'm just going to click the button. It adds a new feature in the tree. It changes this to be a cut list, which means that it'll group together items that are identical. But what it also does is now when I go to this sketch and go to extrude it, merge result is not selected by default. So if you know that you're working in a model that's multi-body, it doesn't have to be a weldment. It could be a plastic enclosure for remote control. It has a bunch of buttons on it, and you're just designing it all in one part using multi-body. Well, if you just click the weldments command and add that weldment feature here at the top of the tree, then merge results will no longer be selected by default, and that can be a nice time saver. So now we'll go extrude. We'll double click on this face here so that we go up to that face. For direction 2, we choose up to face, and we're going to click on this face back here for direction 2. And there we go. We hit the check mark, and now that is not a merged result. And this shelf is going to be made out of a different material. This is going to be made out of ABS. So I'm going to go to that shelf, right mouse button on the body, and choose material, and then I'll change that to ABS. And so now the way these are listed is a little bit different. These 4 are identical bodies. All 4 of them are identical. So it's one item, you know, one drawing, one SKU with a quantity of 4. And then this one has a different SKU, and this one also has its own material, so the material is listed down below. These bodies here are all using this material, the material of the part. This body here is using a different material. It's using this ABS. And so now I'm going to take that body, and I'm going to choose to create a linear pattern from that body or from that feature. So I go linear pattern here, and I'm going to say that the linear pattern is going to use this dimension to drive the direction of the pattern. This is just something kind of cool that you can do with linear patterns. You can use a dimension to drive the direction of the pattern. And then for the spacing, I'm going to say that spacing is going to be 350. So there's the spacing of that pattern. There's 4 instances of that pattern. And that looks okay. It's certainly, the first one looks good, but the remaining shelf is supposed to be 200, and then the final shelf is supposed to be 100 for the spacing. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here to the very bottom of the linear pattern command, and down at the very bottom, there's this option for instances to vary. And I can choose that option for instances to vary. And then what I can do here is for each of these instances, I can click on this little magenta dot, and I can say modify instance. So this one is going to have a spacing of not 350, but it's going to have, or really it tells you what the total calculation is. So it's like 350 plus 350 gets you to 700. So it's going to be 350 plus 200 to get me to that instance. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. I'll say modify instance, and this one is going to be 350 plus 200 plus 100. I think, yeah, you know what? I needed to add that extra 50 in there. So we'll modify this instance and make that plus 50 or 600. And then we'll modify this instance. And this one is going to be plus 100. So this is going to be 750. 750. Oh, I guess actually, you know, this first distance here actually was wrong also, right? Because it's 350 plus 50. So, all right, it's fine. So this is going to be plus 50 as well. So 350 plus 50. So 400. This one is going to be 650. And then this one is going to be, I'm just adding the 50 here. Make that one 800. Whoops, 800. There we go. So that gives us the spacing using a different technique. When we did the, when we do, the linear pattern using the modified spacing option, we can get that same spacing. This seems to me like it's a little bit cumbersome. You saw there as I was going through, I was kind of, doing some extra steps that I probably would not have done in the actual live model. I think I would have just used the technique I showed you initially, but this is meant to be kind of a tutorial, a live solve, and I wanted to just show you some other functionality. To date, when we've talked about this option of modify instances, what we've really talked about is modifying like the width of those shelves at the higher level, modifying a dimension from the sketch, but you can also modify these instances and change the spacing of the linear pattern in those modified instances. And that's really what I wanted to show off in today's demonstration. So now we get to kind of the final phase of this design. And for me, I think that what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use a surface command to create the geometry that I can use to cut these shelves. And so that surface command is very, it's something that I'm very comfortable using. If you're not using surfacing a lot, then this might be a little bit too exotic for you. But the way that I would do it is I would go surfaces and I would say offset surface, and I'm going to offset this surface at 0. And what I'm going to offset is going to be this face here on the back of that leg and this face here on the kind of inside of that leg. And once I offset those two faces, I can hit the green check mark here. And what I'm left with, I'm going to hide this body here. I'm going to hide that body. What I'm left with here is a surface here and a surface here that I can use to cut. The problem is that this surface here isn't long enough to do that cut. So I need to do what's called a surface extend. So I would do an extend surface here and maybe bring this out, say 100, 150 millimeters, whatever I need to get that surface to be out far enough, maybe even 200 millimeters, something like that. And now that I've got that surface extended out, now I've got enough room on that surface to cut these shelves. So what I would do here is I would probably hide these remaining legs just to make it a little easier to see. I would use the trick that we talked about earlier, pick the body from the tree, hold control, pick the plane, let go of control, mirror, right mouse button to finish that, and then pick the two bodies there, the two surface bodies, pick the right plane here, or I'm sorry, the front plane here, let go of control, mirror, and then right mouse button to finish that. And now I can jump into the command cut with surface. So insert, cut with surface, insert, cut with surface, or here, cut with surface. Then you pick your surface that you're going to be cutting with, and then you pick the body or bodies that you're going to be cutting through. So I'm going to be cutting through these bodies here. And now I've removed that corner, and then I can just repeat. So cut with surface. I'm going to pick this surface here. Usually if you do auto select, it's actually based on hide show visibility. So if I hit the green check mark here, it'll probably only cut these and not cut the leg that was there. So that leg is probably still there. Yep, I can see it's still there in the preview. So it's usually just based on hide show. If it's shown and it's interfering with that surface, then that body will be selected. So instead of needing to go, pick which bodies, instead of needing to pick these 1, 2, 3, 4 bodies, what I could do is I could say cut with surface, and then I could say auto select. And since these 4 bodies here are shown, and since they're being intersected by that surface, they're just automatically selected. Now, the final thing I'm going to do here is pick all these surface bodies and use the command insert, features, delete bodies, delete keep bodies. But the shortcut to that is if you pick a body from the body folder and you press delete, then those bodies are selected and a new feature is created down here at the bottom of the tree called delete body, or body delete / keep. So now those bodies are gone. Now I can bring back these bodies here. These guys here didn't get the custom material, so let's make sure that they all have ABS as well. So ABS, ABS, ABS. So all 4 of the shelves here have ABS, and sorry, the legs have that 1060. And now the final thing I need to do is just kind of clean up the shelves there on the outside, because they're obviously sticking out too far. Although I kind of like that design more for the shelves. I think I would actually prefer something like this in my living room. But what we could do for that is we could just begin a sketch, convert entity, really we could convert up here too, but it's fine. Convert entity, and convert entity. So I just did a hold control and picked all 4 of them, bring these 2 lines together to kind of close that thing off. And then we could do an extrude cut. So S key, extrude cut, right mouse button through all. And then we're going to do flip side to cut. So instead of cutting to the inside, it's going to cut to the outside. And once again, our feature scope here says which bodies are going to be affected by this. Well, we can do auto select because the shelves are shown and only the shelves are going to be affected. The legs are not going to be affected by this cut extrude. So when we hit the green check mark, there we see that only the shelves were affected, the legs were not affected. And so now at this point, we can do a control Q to rebuild. And if we had our template set up with a sensor, we could just go up here and look at the sensor. But if not, we can add a new sensor, or we could go to mass properties. Either way, we can see that the mass of this thing is 22.91 kilograms. So let's see if that is correct. And that is correct, 22.9 kilograms. So we did it. We modeled this thing up using multi-body design in SolidWorks. And if you enjoyed that live solve, if you enjoyed that tutorial, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe to this channel. There was a lot of good tips and tricks there on working with multi-body, and hopefully you can enjoy them in the future of your SolidWorks usage. And that is our live solve. Let's move on now in this presentation. Just going to kind of take a look here at the chat, see if anything came up. Some discussion here of a Libre. Good stuff from Ex Machina. Let's see here. Aaron said, yeah, that's definitely one of the hidden tricks. One that I caught in the competitors turning 2. Yep, probably selecting the bodies. Under the clock, easy mistake to make. Yep. All right, Victor did it in Onshape and SolidWorks. We like that. All right, come on, guys. Variable linear pattern deserves a like. Hit that like button. Thank you, Ex Machina. Appreciate it. Let's get into it now and see what the answer is. But of course, if you enjoyed that kind of live stream, be sure to like and subscribe, like Ex Machina said. And don't forget, if you're enjoying this channel, value for value is always an opportunity where you can give some back. TooTallToby.com/donate is the website. That's where you can go and you can provide some value back to me for the value that we try to provide to you on this channel. That's how value for value works. So TooTallToby.com/donate if you want to be like this guy here. He's got the TooTallToby sticker on his laptop. He's got the poster up in the back. He's got his credit card out. He's ready to go. He's ready to make some value for value donations. So always very much appreciated. Also, you can use Super Chat and you can use Super Thanks if you're watching the recording. Alrighty, let's take a look at our answer here for the second challenge. Let's go into the world of chat and see who got it correct. So it looks like Aaron C comes up with 3.91 pounds. Will, right behind him, 3.91 pounds. Aaron says, oh, thank God. Got the same answer as Will from Brazil. Victor K coming in 3.91 says, nice work, Aaron. Yes, indeed. Very nice work. Ex Machina Engineering, 3.98 pounds. Very nice here. Using a Libre. Very, very nice. Ex Machina saying, can't find why I'm not getting 3.9. Well, 3.9 when he found it. Got it. Very nice, Ex Machina. Remember, on Model Monday Live, you can submit as many answers as you want, as many revisions as you want. And Victor K coming up with 3.91 in Onshape as well. And Amir getting in here, 3.91 pounds. Very nicely done. Guys, the correct answer is 3.91 pounds. So good game to Aaron C. Well done. Good game to Victor K. These guys were both in the Final Fours of the World Championship. So anybody who's out there who finished this thing in the allotted time, very impressive. It's a very complicated model. Congratulations, and that does bring us right up to the top of the hour. So good game to Aaron C, earning a point. Good game to Victor K, earning a point. Congratulations to our winners for earning those points this week. And don't forget, guys, be sure to check out our friends over at SolidBox. SolidBox really makes professional level computers with no IT required solutions. So if you ever need a new computer, if you're ever in the market for a new computer to do 3D CAD, check out the team over at SolidBox. They will totally hook it up. Also, the Onshape team has been posting some of my tutorials lately, so be sure to visit the Onshape YouTube channel. Those tutorials are getting a lot of traction. If you're trying to learn Onshape, this is a great way to learn, taking a look at some of these step-by-step tutorials. And be on the lookout for some upcoming Libre content. We're working with the team at Libre. I'm really just working on getting my chops up for Libre, so I'm excited. Maybe next week I'll do a live solve using Libre instead of using SolidWorks. We'll see how it goes over the week. But be sure to check out Libre, another great CAD solution, fully standalone CAD, very easy to use. Check them out, libre.com. And I want to say thank you all so much in the chat. You guys are indeed the best chat ever. Don't forget to sign up for the upcoming tournament, TooTallToby.com/spring. And I will see everybody next week, Monday, January 22nd. We're back, baby. Practice models, shorts, pro moves, social media, text, images, base posts. If you see any of this stuff this week, please be sure to share it with everybody. You've got about 1 week left to qualify for the tournament. So if you know anybody who's a CAD wizard, if you know any students, if you know any expert users, send them a link to TooTallToby.com/spring so we can get them involved in the tournament. And we'll look forward to seeing everybody next week. I think that's it. I want to say thank you all so much. You guys are indeed the best chat ever. I hope you have a great week. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week. I hope you enjoyed starting the week here with Model Monday Live. And I will see everybody throughout the week in a series of pro tips and power moves and shorts and videos and all kinds of fun content. So if I don't see you before then, I'll see everybody next week in Model Monday Live on January 22nd. Thanks, everybody.
Access granted.